There are no Amber Alerts for Black girls. I repeat, there are no Amber Alerts for Black girls. When we come up missing, we become urban legends and our family knows, but there's no evidence. We are never victims. Although they rape us, beat us, and mistreat us, they never listen. They just call us crazy and treat us like we're a disgrace to humanity. But when was the last time you seen a Black girl get off jail time for pleading insanity? Being told that I am pretty for a Black girl. All while seeing my features viewed as blessings on every magazine except Jet and Essence. Being given a list of reasons why they don't date Black girls. Well, my list goes like this. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. Angela Davis was a fuck you. Madam C.J. Walker was a fuck you. Erykah Badu is a fuck you. And no, I can't forget Beyonce Knowles is a fuck you. Fuck you mean? Even despite all these things, we are still queens. Actually, let me correct that. Because of all these things, we are still queens. The original human beings. Without us, there is literally no you. May ruffle some feathers, but we all know the truth. We survived the test of times because we are Black girls. Not in spite of, but because of. Because I am a Black girl, they never listen, so I have to make my presence felt and not heard. Because I am a Black girl, I am beautiful beyond magazine typed words. Because I am a Black girl, I'm not allowed to be mediocre, so I have to be superb. You see, a diamond in the rough won't shine until it is burned and cut. So the very things they use to burn us and cut us are the things that formed us. Not tactics, but formulas. So ladies, let's get information. Show me that you got some coordination, because I slay. And that, my friends, is Amber Alerts, my poem. So I wanted to start this off with that poem because it perfectly illustrates kind of what I wanted to talk about in this this podcast. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I am very surprised that I have that memorized still, because I wrote that in 2016, and it's crazy how relevant it still is. And it came to me very quickly. It's like one of those things that just wrote itself. And whenever I've ever performed it live, I'm talking people go crazy. So I always thought about, like, it would be awesome to, like, travel the country and just perform that one poem in different poetry spots across the country. But the overall message in that is, because it's layered, right? Because there's two extremes a lot of times. There's the extreme of, like, when you have all these labels and different things and layers to you. Like me, I have plenty. I have the Black, the woman, the lesbian, the masculine lesbian. I got a lot going on, right? And so each one of those sectors, there are, all these pitfalls that I can go down of why things are happening for me in my life, right? And so, but the way I was kind of raised was not to see myself as lesser because of those things. If anything, oh, you feel that way. Oh, that's how you think. That's how you feel. Oh, well, we gonna have to show you then. We're gonna have to show you, right? And I think a lot of that came from definitely my mom, where, I grew up in all white neighborhoods. And, there's some people that talk about, well, I don't know why y'all Black tails want to run to a white neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Ain't no neighborhood white around this piece. Especially me learning my genealogy. Ain't no white neighborhood around it. This my land, bitch. I could go wherever I want. We owned it. We own the house, the land, and everything around it. How you like that? How you like me now? Ain't no white neighborhood. I even kind of felt like that when I first, got out of the that neighborhood and started getting around like pro-black or whatever. But at the end of the day, ain't no white neighborhoods. Okay, ain't no black neighborhoods. Wherever I want to live is my neighborhood. Wherever wherever my name is on the deed and the title, that's my neighborhood. Okay. But that's a whole nother conversation. But growing up in that area, and like situations where you're getting bad service, you're trying to buy something expensive, and somebody's giving you an attitude, they're giving you a hard time, they're kissing up to, you see other races of people being kissed up to and all this other stuff, and then you over here qualified to have the money, have what you need to be able to get what you're trying to get, and they looking at you like you ain't worth nothing. It's just be like, oh, okay, you're not gonna stop me from getting what I want. If this is what I want, right? If I want this Benz, they got plenty car dealerships where I could get the Benz. If you can't give me the Benz, then I'm gonna go and get the Benz somewhere. Okay, if you can't give me, you're not gonna let me get the house. Okay, well, they got plenty of other houses I can go get. I'm gonna get the house that I want to get. I'm gonna build it if I need to build it. Oh, you won't give me a job? Well, there's plenty of jobs I can create. I'm gonna go ahead and create me a job, and then I'm gonna hire my motherfucking self. If y'all feel like I'm not qualified, or I don't meet your standards, or I need to change my name, or I need to, let me go ahead and, right? And so, it's just, and even I'm talking my grandparents, right? Not allowing, and people talk about racism in America, segregation and Jim Crow and civil rights and all this other stuff. Well, my grandpa was born before civil rights. I'm talking 1930s, Great Depression. He was living in segregation. We be talking about like we so oppressed right now because of what our grandparents go through, and our grandparents then went through it, and some of them, right, are doing better than us. If we're being honest, because we got so much debt that they didn't have. They was able to buy houses, build houses. A lot of them had their own land that their grandparents passed down to them, right? And what I'm saying? They're okay. They're okay. Okay? And when I talk about there's two extremes, it's not denying that things are happening or that there are injustices or that things are going on, right? It's acknowledging that, right? It's acknowledging the cuts and the burns and the bruises, but it's also acknowledging the fact that if a diamond wants to be a diamond, okay, if a diamond wants to be a diamond, well, it's going to have to get some cuts and bruises. It's going to have to get cut up and bruised. That brings the value up. That only brings up my value. That ups my value. And this goes into the things that I've been talking about consistently, right? In that book, The Richest Man in Babylon, it talked about how don't lessen your work. Don't work less. Don't devalue or be mad at who you work for if they don't appreciate how hard you work or how good you work, the level of work that you do for them, because it makes you a better person, right? It makes you a better person, right? They got people out here, refusing. Oh, I'm not about to work hard for this. I'm not about to work hard for that. But you're talented. You have the skills, and that's the area that you're passionate about, right? But you don't want to work hard. Well, what? Because it's a white man you're working for, or whatever you're working for. If you ever want to work for yourself, and this is the lesson my grandpa told me when I was interviewing him. He was like, if you want to get into entrepreneurship, your best bet is to get a job. And the same thing, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, work to learn, not for money, right? It's your best bet to work really hard in whatever industry that you want to do, right? And learn the ins and outs of that industry and the ins and outs of, how to do what it is that you want to, the type of business you want to own, because it's going to be real easy when you move on to something else versus trying to create something totally from scratch in an industry that you've never been in, right? So when you working really hard, at this job, whatever the case may be, if you have the mindset of, I don't care what this manager is saying. I don't care what kind of gossip they got going on in this amongst my coworkers. I don't give a goddamn what they say. I don't care about, who got this and who got that. I'm working really hard, and if they don't see my value, that's fine, because it's still gonna be more valuable for me, even if, I want to move from this job to another job. If I want to move from this job to a better job, right? If I was half-assing the whole time I was in this job, why would this better job even want to hire me? It doesn't even make sense. I don't even have the stats to prove why I should even be considered in this other job, because I half-assed over here. Why, if I'm a half-ass working over here for this other person, right? And I want to start a business in this area, and I haven't learned the ins and outs of the business because I'm trying to half-ass the whole time, because I'm trying to do something to these people who don't need me no way, who don't care nothing about me. And I'm thinking in my mind that I'm a center of something, then I'm missing out on all the lessons and the things that I can learn for my own business, right? And so, again, that goes into it builds you into a better person. Like, I've had all kinds of racist experiences. I mean, it's like the sexism and the racism happened very early on for me, because the sexism happened largely with, sports, playing, basketball, starting off playing basketball with all boys, to the point where I didn't even really see it as sexism, because I just figured it was just a part of the game. That's just how it is, right? I mean, it is what it is if I'm playing with all boys. But of course, when I was a kid, I was whooping these boys. I still be whooping these boys. I still be whooping them. If you're not a good basketball player, you're still going to get whooped. You can get this work. Any of y'all out here on YouTube land right now, in my comments, I would love to play some of y'all in basketball, because y'all be with it. Y'all will get smoked. Okay? Smoked. All right? And so, when it comes to, I had that, it really developed that mindset in me to, every time I get on the court, it's like brand new. It's a fresh start. It doesn't matter if I got J's on. It doesn't matter how athletic I am. It doesn't matter how many games I won in the past. It doesn't matter if I won a whole championship in women's basketball. It don't matter. When I come on that court, I'm a girl. To this day, I'm a girl. If there's a 13-year-old little boy who can dribble and not pass the ball out of bounds, he gonna get picked before me. 9 times out of 10, he gonna get picked before me, and that's fine, because when I get to playing, right? Because my character has been built, right? Because I understand the rules and I understand the assignment, right? My goal is to win. All right, so I'm going to do whatever I need to do to win, because the second I lose, then I'm off, right? But if I have that mindset, they got a lot of people that's extremely athletic that becoming, playing street ball, and they're straight trash. They're lazy. They don't play no defense, and they will continue to get picked up. They will steadily get picked up, but that doesn't build their character at all, right? They have these privileges, right? People talk about, oh, you have this privilege, you have that privilege, you have light skin privilege, you have white privilege, you have all these privileges. To me, these privileges, they may give people an easy pass, but it don't build character. You feel me? The privileges don't build character. There are certain character traits that you build as a black person who wants to succeed, who is going to get what they want regardless, that somebody who is white and who has white privileges, that this a character trait that they don't have to build. They could just shuck a job. But they also have some black people that be trying to get white privilege, right? And I'm going off into some deep stuff. And be tap dancing. You'll be trying to get white privilege. I just recently seen this, right? Now they turn their back on black people. Don't want to talk to the black people or nothing. They want to separate themselves from black people and be shucking and jiving with the white people, right? But the second they do the same thing that the other white boys do, you gone. Cut. The second you do any kind of thing that's out of character, right? You do anything that's unethical, boop, you the first one gone. Oh, you thought? You thought you was going to have white privilege? Psych. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like that, right? There's certain character traits that you have to build. And to me, that's a benefit to me. I could be mad about it all day long, but at the end of the day, I would rather build my character because my character is generational. That's generational wealth. Not to say that, white people don't have to build character, blah, 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 but in particular situations, you see? And I can say the same thing when it comes to being a woman wanting to do, certain things, wanting to do specific things, right? And, even for me to be able to create that poem, right, I had to have done some study. I had to have put some things into perspective, right? Like, there's so many things that I could, like, when you do the research on you, and this becomes a part of self-awareness, it becomes of being aware of your identity and not allowing people to tell you what your identity is and what it means, what it should mean to you, right? Like me being a woman, what that's supposed to mean to me, what things it's supposed to allow me to do and not allow me to do. Me being a lesbian, what that's supposed to allow me to do and not allow me to do. They have a dumbass, I talked about this before. They had this dumbass boy who commented under my one of my videos about ancestry, and I keep talking about this because it really took me out. He wanted to sit there talking about I find it strange that you're so interested in ancestry when you're not able to procreate as a lesbian. And if I had known myself, right, if I hadn't studied, womanhood, I would be like, oh, poor me. I can't procreate as a lesbian because why? Why would I not be able to procreate as a lesbian when I have the egg? I have the baby in here. It's already there. I was born with eggs. I was born with all the children that I could ever want to have. And all a man does is have fertilizer. Literally. And then I said that in one of my videos, and somebody sat up there and go, how dare you call what a man fertilizer? Search up the definition of sperm. I told that fool to search it up. This motherfucker got quiet. That's what you're supposed to know yourself. I'm like, well, as a man, you shouldn't be mad because that's the truth. That's what it is. It's fertilizer. Why am I telling you what the fuck you got? You trying to tell me what I got. Why I'm telling you what you got? That's what I'm talking about. You got people telling you about you, and they don't know about themselves. I'm talking as a woman. When it comes to sexuality, when it comes to procreating, when it comes to intelligence, there is so many ways that we can flex on these fools. And it's crazy, right? A lot of these things that identity politics or whatever that people want to downplay and say, oh, this is why you can't be this or this is why you can't be that. Right? Regardless of whatever it is, if you go down the rabbit hole or whatever, right? Whatever it is that you are, you're going to find all these gifts and all these benefits, right? As to why you can be successful because of blah, 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 blah. And it's your best bet to do that. I've said this before. It's your best bet. It don't matter if you Chinese. If you Chinese and people telling you, you never going to be successful in X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. If you go and do the work, you going to find some information as to why you will be successful. But it's our responsibility to do that work, right? And then, there's a lot of conditioning around being a black woman. So I talked about some of the stuff, but think about it. What's the biggest flex on earth? What's the biggest flex on earth? I'm telling you, my ancestors were talking to me when I was writing that poem. What's the biggest flex on earth? Without us, there's literally no you. Oh, bitch, you're our sons. You are our sons and daughters. I don't care if you're a black man. I don't care if you're a white man, white woman, Asian, Indian, whatever. You're our sons. You're our daughters. You are our children. Be quiet. Sit down. Be quiet. I'm talking about flex. I'm talking about. Stop playing with me. And so when you have and that's what I call white man confidence, right? I like so many things that I've said so far has been so problematic. I'm sure like I could easily get canceled this entire podcast, but I don't give a damn because it's my shit. It's mine. It's mine. But that's what I call white man confidence, right? And so what white man, and I've never heard anybody articulate this in this way, right? And it's not even a diss to white men, right? What white man confidence is a confidence in your ancestry, a confidence that you deserve success because of what you are, right? Because of what you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are at all. But because of what you are successful. You are entitled to success because of what you are, right? And so there's a lot of people, and I'm sure we all know, there's plenty. I just experienced, it's just, Jesus. The white man confidence where motherfucker just dumb as a box of rocks. Dumb as a box of rocks. Don't have no skills. They ain't did shit. They haven't worked for shit, but they walk in, they say the minuscule of things and gave somebody a compliment and boom, you're the boss, right? That's a white man confidence, right? But, you know, you can be mad at society for it. You can do whatever. You can do backflips. You could whatever. But at the end of the day, the only difference between a white man, it's a big difference though, between the white man confidence and the confidence that you could have. It's just that, you know, society in our education system in America and the movies and different things like that, they have given them a curriculum on it already. They've been trained, they've been brainwashed in it, right? And we've been brainwashed in it as well. Like we've all been brainwashed in it. Is it true? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Okay? But could it be true for them? Maybe, maybe not, right? And so if we as individuals do the research in our different areas or whatever, you know, identity politics that we are born with or we have, right? If we do the research, right, which is what I was guided to do on my journey of awakening, is, you know, every sector of what I am, I'm going to study that. I'm going to have books about that. I'm going to read about that. I'm going to educate myself, right? When it comes to my whatever race, right? What does race mean? What are the people that are the same race as me? What did they do? My parents started me in that early on, right? Who are successful people in the past looking like me doing, right? That's important. What have women been doing? What have women like me been doing? Right? What have and then, you know, that I kept that habit. Okay, what has masculine women done? Okay, what has lesbian women done? Empires, the Amazons. A lot of the Amazon, when you talk about Amazon women, these women warriors, a lot of them were lesbians. Wonder Woman, right? Queen Calafia, they had a whole tribe and warrior. They had islands with just women, warriors. Okay, and people, well, how are they going to procreate? How was Jesus born? Right? They don't want to talk about that. Whenever talk about how was Jesus born? Oh, but God made Jesus. They had one fool talking about, an angel had sex with Mary, Mother Mary, and that's how. What? Nowhere in the Bible does it say that Mother Mary had sex with Jesus. Right? These men, they would rather believe that Mother Mary had sex with an angel than to believe that women can have children on their own without a man. That's how wild it is. They were, you know what? It was an alien. She had sex with an alien, and that's how Jesus came to be, right? And bump the possibility that this whole story is not even real. Okay, but I believe it very well could be real. And there is parthenogenesis in all the animal kingdom, and it was the old way of how people were born. According to the indigenous Americans, that's the old way of being born, and there's still people being born in that way. Now, I read books about it. This is important. Well, just because you read books about it don't mean shit. Well, how else you gonna learn about anything? You can say the same thing about anything, but I mean, also in Indian culture in India, they know a lot about that. A lot of times, the people that are born that way, they make them kings and queens and stuff. They be praising them, like we praise Jesus. So, I went off in a tangent, but I'm just saying, in every identity politic that you can come up with, there's ways to flex. Everything is flex worthy. And I've just figured out the ways where I and not to say I'm gonna try to flex on people, right? But it's important to know your benefits. Like, it's important to know the benefits of what you are, right? And otherwise you leave yourself easy prey for people to weaponize it against you, right? I much rather think about my skin and my womanhood and me being a lesbian, me being attracted to women or whatever, every part of me. I'd rather focus on the benefits and say, you know what, this is why, and if you say, you know what, this is actually why I'm a beast at this, because blah, 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 right? All those, like sales, for example, right? I can say, oh, folks, they're not gonna try to hire me because I'm black, because I'm a woman, because I'm, and a lot of times, in a lot of situations, they do not hire women when it comes to sales, because a lot of times, women, I'm not gonna say a lot of times, but it's a rare type of women that is good at sales. But when a woman is good at sales, she's a beast at sales. Okay, it depends on what kind of sales too, right? And a lot of times, women end up being better at sales than the men, because why? A lot of times, women are the ultimate decision maker. Even if the husband is the main breadwinner, a lot of times he's not gonna make that decision without his wife. So if you're a female salesperson and you know how, and you're skilled at what you do, you have an advantage. You actually have an advantage, right? But if I let a group of guys tell me who I am or what I am or what I'm capable of course they're not gonna say, most men are not, they're gonna assume that I'm not gonna be able to be good. Oh, well, you're just not gonna work hard. You know what I'm saying? Most women, they get in here, they can't take the rejection, and they're just not putting in the work, and but that's what most people would say and think, right? And so, but it's up to, again, us as individuals, right, to do the work and determine. That goes into one of the other podcasts I talk about. What is it that you want? Okay, what is your definite purpose? And this is the other thing. This is the other thing, right? Now, I'm sure some of y'all didn't cancel me a long time ago. So if y'all still here, kudos to you, right? But I'm just so comfortable. I'm so glad I moved this here. I mean, because I'll be sitting here for hours, hour and a half. That little stool I got over there in my kitchen, it's not comfortable like this. But anyway, and this is where I journal, I chill, I read my books. It's my little nook. I feel like this is a little more personal, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I was getting to a really good point. This goes back into definite chief aim and purpose and outwitting the devil, and how having a definite purpose and a clear intent in which you're looking for, how it helps you to outwit the devil, but how all these identity politics, right? And I go back, some of y'all haven't heard the dream that I had a while back if you're not used to my content. In about 2019, I had a dream. This is before 2020, before all this like hardcore trans movement and all this non-binary stuff happened, right? I had this dream that there was this, I was at a camp. I was one of the like chauffeurs or whatever camp. I never done camp really, but I was one of the adults that was a part of the camp, right? And they had kids there running around doing their thing. And there was this one black girl who had a colorful tick on her head, right? And, you know, of course, we're trying to figure out what to do, right? And there was this girl who was a, you know, what you consider like a blue haired white liberal who pretty much was like a feminist. You represented a feminist. And then there was this pro-black BLM type of guy there. And the pro-black guy, he had to run because he had a funeral, right, to attend to. And to me, that represented, you know, the whole Black Lives Matter, focusing on death and people being killed and dying. And then you have the blue-haired liberals who are focused on something, but I'll tell you what they're focused on based on the dream, right? So her idea, what to do, how to help this girl, was to put more stuff into the girl's hair, into her head, right? And I woke up from that dream thinking, no, we don't need to put more things in this girl's head. What we need to do is take this colorful tick on out her head. We need to take the colorful tick out of her head. Why are we putting more stuff in her head? She got enough shit in her. She got something that in her head, on her head, that she don't need to have already, right? And what that colorful tick to me represented is the LGBTQ Incorporated. All the they, then, I mean, this, and I had that dream like right in the cusp before all this just went crazy, right? And to me, it's a way to not outwit the devil. It's a way to be fooled by the devil, because what does it do? It keeps your mind busy on things that have no purpose. It keeps your mind, you know, super going. Right? Even, you know, the concept of now they are, you know, people aren't, there's no studs anymore. There's no, you know, masculine women. There's no androgynous women, really. They're just trans men, right? They go from, you know, there's no tomboy. It's just trans men. And they did not, it used to be so rare to ever see a trans man, period. So rare, right? Because it was understood, yeah, we're masculine. We're women. We're just masculine, and we like women. And that's the fuck it. That's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to be said, right? That's it. We're women. We know we're women, right? And so, but then what it does, it gives the people who would normally just be like, oh yeah, we're just studs. I'm just a baby stud, right? It gives them a new purpose, right? All these colorful ticks, right? And that's what they've largely done. They've been doing to the LGBT community for the past 50, 60 years, because we started to really start to have a purpose. And I broke it down a while ago when I read, I forgot what it was called, but it was this gay man in like the 60s. He wrote this this document. It's like 3 pages, pretty much outlining the gay agenda, the original gay agenda. And the way I found out about this, which is very interesting, was young Pharaoh. He pretty much read the propaganda version, right? And I'm like, I was listening to the propaganda version of it, and I'm like, this don't even sound right. This doesn't make sense. And I actually did the research. See, most people just listen to pro-black people or, you know, information people, and they just blindly listen to everything they say. Whatever I tell you, I want you to research it. Research it. Tell me what you come up with, right? But so I was like, this don't sound right. But if it is, hey, that's what the man said. It is what it is. Whatever. But I actually did the research, and that was a politicized version of the real one. And the real guy who wrote it, largely, he died maybe a year or 2 after he wrote that, right? It was like stuff popped off after he wrote that. And if, like, for the people to actually read it, it reads like Malcolm X. It reads like Malcolm X. He was ready, and what a lot of people don't know about the LGBT, the original, the real one movement, they were largely starting to partner up with the women's movement. They were partnering up with the pro-black, the Black Panthers, right? The Black Panthers fully accepted the LGBT. I'm not gonna say all of the Black Panthers, but the leader. They even wrote about it in the book, talking about how they felt like the LGBT at that time in the 60s was more oppressed than black people, and that they wanted to partner with the LGBT and come together and fight for the rights of the people, right? And they even said, well, shoot, in that writing, talking about, shoot, we can get with the immigrants, and it seems, and it's crazy because they've created a pretty much a bootleg version of that, but it's completely and totally controlled and run by the government. In the 60s, it wasn't. In the 60s, they started having to take people out because they had a definite purpose. They had a clear purpose. They had a definite purpose, and they weren't bought out yet. And so a lot of, and this is another thing that people don't understand about, the AIDS. I'm getting chills. It was happening with the AIDS movement. It was like they were destroying all kinds of different things. They was destroying the Black Panthers. They was destroying the LGBT at that time. They was destroying a lot of the real powerful leaders that actually had definite chief aims and purposes and really wanted to educate the people and say some real stuff and do some real stuff, have some real changes, right? It was taking them out. A lot of Black Panthers, they still in jail till this day, right? And so what it ultimately does, whether it's the Black Lives Matter movement trying to get black people to stay focused on shootings and killings and whatever agenda, vote for this one, vote for that one, Trump is this, that, and the third, wherever they can get your mind off anything but your definite chief aim, your purpose, right? Even if you feel strongly about any of these movements or whatever, what is a definite chief purpose? What's a definite way? If you feel a way about literacy, what's the definite way to solve that problem? If you feel a real way about police brutality, what's a definite way to solve that problem? If you have a way about domestic violence or whatever, anything that's going on in your community, what is a definite chief aim and a way to solve that problem? If that's not what you focus on, and if you just complaining and whining and crying, then you're being outwitted by the devil. You're not outwitting the devil. You're being outwitted by the devil. If you, a social justice warrior for LGBT rights, what rights are y'all fighting for at this point when it comes to LGBT? We done already won. Ain't shit else. We don't need shit else. Okay, there's some, maybe some little minor stuff, but even the minor stuff that we really would be fighting for it, y'all ain't even fighting for it. Ain't shit. That's why they had to turn it up a notch and start saying, you know what, fuck these goddamn, now these, we didn't give them too much. Now they got time to actually be thinking about and doing some real stuff in the community. We can't have that, right? Because think about it, the LGBT, even in your own family, but also in the community, largely since ancient times, we have been the people who would actually go out and fight for change, because a lot of times we're the people that don't have, we're not child focused. We're not focused on having a child and necessarily just a family unit. A lot of times we'd be the overseers of the community. We'd be the gatekeepers of the community, keeping snakes out the community, right? And going out into the world and fighting for whatever kingdoms we coming back to. We're going out in the world and we're fighting for the protection of what's going on in our kingdoms, right? But if you have a situation where you don't want a community to be protected, right? If you don't want the people to be taken care of, then what do you have to do? You have to keep these gatekeepers. You have to keep these people that would actually have time and the energy and the intelligence, right? And the wherewithal to make changes and make things happen. You have to keep them busy. You got to keep them distracted. You got to keep them focused on everything but what they need to be focused on. And that's why I feel like they're so heavy on the black community, and they're so heavy on the LGBT community, And also heavy on women as well, because they don't want these people to evolve and be definite in their purpose. Anytime where they're steadily attacking and hardcore on a certain group of people, you should know that there's a reason why there's a target on these people's back, because they don't want you focused on your purpose. So ultimately, right, if you have these I don't know, identity politics. I forget. I always forget that term. I don't know why. But if you have all these different identity politics, if you feel away, you've been told that, because you're this, because you're that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Figure out what you want to do, regardless of whatever they're telling you, because mostly it's a lie, especially if you're in America. Decide on what you want. Okay? Decide on a definite purpose, and whatever that definite purpose is, then you go and study whatever identity politic you have, and study the people who have made it with that same identity politic, or made it in different areas, and that could be the inspiration for you to make it in this area, right? And that's why it's important to have visibility, to be seen, right? To be honored. But some of us, right, we have to dig. We have to dig deep. We got to call on our ancestors. Ancestors, lead me and guide me. My guardian angels, lead me and guide me to information. That's how, even some of the information that I've already said in this video, I had to be guided. As far as like that paper that the gay man I told you, they made a propaganda version. For me to find the original version, I had to dig. I had to be guided to that information, because it wasn't just out there. I had to be guided to that. Some of us, we have identity politics that's so hidden and covered. See, even as far as my ancestry, a lot of that stuff is hidden. We can complain, whine about it, but that should tell you. Think about it. If you have a treasure, right? If there's a hidden treasure, the treasure is hidden for a reason. It's a treasure. So you want us to just be you're mad because it's hidden? You mad because the treasure is hidden? Don't be mad that the treasure is hidden. Just know that the reason why it's hidden is because it's so valuable. Okay? And so it's up to you, if it's important enough to you, if you feel like it's worth it for you, right? Go on that journey. Don't be mad that it's hidden. Just say, hey, kudos to y'all. I get why it's hidden. If it wasn't valuable, then it wouldn't be hidden, right? If it wasn't valuable, it would be open to everybody to know. It'd be really easy to find, right? Same thing. It's just like, as far as like a love relationship or something like that, right? When you find the right one, you get with the right person, it may be like, why the hell did I have to go through all this to get there? Why did I have to go through all this to get to this place? Same thing with a successful business. Why do I have to go through that? If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? If it was just given to you, if you didn't have to develop your character, if you didn't have to, go through the journey and study and grind and hustle, and then everybody would have that already. It would already be for everybody, right? And so to me, when it comes to my ancestry, when it comes to me studying, I don't even want to call it LGBT history, right? But when it comes to studying like gatekeepers, finding out information about this, like I'm when I tell you I've been guided to some information, right? But it's more, to me, it's so much more rewarding because I work for it. Right? I had to work for it. And so some of y'all just need to work, right? Some of y'all need to stop whining and start working. I don't know if I'm going to make that the title. That was originally what I wanted to make it. Stop whining and start grinding. In all these areas, you're just going to sit there and let somebody tell you that or you're going to sit there in the mirror and tell yourself and be arguing back and forth with random trolls on the internet about why you feel like somebody should call you a they and a them. You going to waste your life doing that shit? You gonna waste your life. Somebody at the damn grocery store called me or her. When you in a full makeup, you looking like a full grown woman, and you are. I'm not. Whatever you want to call yourself, whatever. But to society, you looking like a grown woman, and you cussing out the lady at the grocery store because she didn't call you a her. She said, "Ma'am," and you want to be called. What's the equivalent? What's the they them equivalent of ma'am? And you want to be called them, bitch? You want to waste. She didn't call me them thing. Them. You want to waste your time with that foolishness? That's what you want to waste your time with? And this is also the mentality around white lives matter, right? That whole concept of white lives matter, right? When Kanye West says it, right? When I first heard Black Lives Matter, I was just like it's a whole movement, Black Lives Matter, and even the mindset around it. I'm like, this is the dumbest shit ever. And she's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's in solidarity with the black community and how, people have died and how people don't seem to care about their lives. And to me, it was always dumb because I'm like, bitch, I know my life matters, ho. I don't need you to tell me. The fuck I need a white person to tell me that my life matters for? Like, when I first heard it, I imagined, right? This is what I imagined, right? I imagined me going to the coffee shop, right? I imagine going to the coffee shop, right? Because I go to the coffee shop all the time. I'd have been to about every coffee shop in the state of Houston. The state of Houston is not it's a state, goddamn, it's big as hell. But I imagine myself going to the coffee shop, look around, trying to figure out what coffee I want to get. And there's this white lady at the register, and she just says, you know what? Your life matters. You know that? Do you know that your life matters? And I'm just like, white woman, what did you say to me? Your life matters. Am I supposed to break down in tears? What are you telling me? I know that. I know my life matters. What the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Right? And it's this mindset, like, I'm supposed to not believe that my life matters. Even if some white person in the abyss somewhere, randomly in the country bumpkin, wherever, doesn't believe that my life matters, who the fuck cares? I don't care. I don't care. You don't care that my life matters. I don't care if your life matters, bitch. I know my life matters. I don't care what you feel like. Right? And so, like, that was pretty much the mindset behind white lives matter. Am I saying, oh, Kanye West is a genius, blah blah blah? No. But when I heard him break it down, like, it makes sense. Like, for people who actually grew up with family who were like Black Panthers, like some of my family, Black Panthers who grew up in the South, who grew up experiencing these different types, like civil rights and stuff like that. This damn foolishness that they be talking is just foolishness is what it is ultimately a lot of times. It don't even make no damn sense, right? And so we really have to care about ourselves enough, right, to be able to read through the thing, and like a lot of it is like, just seeing all these messages of people talking about, I'm scared to raise my black son in this America. I'm so scared for my black son. And then they I had to have the conversation with my son. It's so rare for a black man to be killed at the hand of a cop. It's so rare. That is so rare, right? And regardless of whatever, like, I'm just saying, like, it's extremely rare. I asked, like, so many different people that I know. I'm like, have you ever met one person, or have you ever known of a person that you know of, like, even somebody that you know of, like, that's not like in the news. Have you ever known of somebody who was actually killed unarmed by a police officer. I have yet to ever hear anybody say, "Oh yeah, my cousin did." I've never heard it. But then I asked, have you ever heard of somebody being murdered, in domestic violence? So many people say yeah. Have you heard gang violence? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Robbery? Oh yeah. The fuck. But aside from that, just the mindset and putting that heavy burden on children, kids. What are you talking to them about that for? Don't talk to them about that. Don't talk to them about that. Do not talk. If anything you want to talk about knowing your rights when you're dealing with police. Talk about how to shoot a damn gun. You know, how to handle a weapon, how to protect yourself. Don't talk to your sons about how they might be killed by the police if they do something. Hell, that's some weak ass shit. That's weak. That is some wounded feminine energy. Okay, that's extremely wounded feminine energy, coddling little boys. Stop. Don't do that to them. Don't do that to their mindset. I remember seeing that. I was just like, oh my gosh, these damn kids. Oh, I fear. The way my family energy is, let them. Okay. I'm talking about even segregation times. My grandpa was talking about how his grandpa let them play with him like that. They know not to play with him. He got his shotgun. He ready. And my grandma, or his grandma. Think about that. That's mid 1800s. That's early 1800s. Matter of fact, I'm talking about early 1800s. Talking about. That's what you tell your sons. That's what I'm telling my damn self. And daughters. If I got daughters and sons, I'm not about to tell him, oh, Black Lives Matter. And wearing t-shirts and all this. I call that. My people is Black Panthers. What? That. It's going to be me or you, and it's going to be you at the end of the day. What? And of course, you don't go out there looking for it, but if it finds you, they're going to stop playing. We're going to go to court. We're going to go to court. I'm going to go into casket. We're going to court. And let it, hey, whatever justice system, but hey, is me versus you around this bit. Talking about some Black Lives Matter. Yeah, my life matters a lot. Okay, and if it's me or you, it's going to be you. How about that? Anyway, didn't expect to end this podcast in this way, in violence. All right, I started, hey, depending on where you swing, you might have felt like I started this with some violence. It might have felt like I chose violence in the beginning, talking about without us, there is literally no you. And that's how I'm going to end it. Play with us if you want to. Our ancestors and your ancestors going to be on your ass. Because why? Without us, there is literally no you. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out.